listen up. Y'all, it's the queen of automation, Meghan Donnelly, here to give you inspiration. Founders and business owners gather round. I'ma show you how to build systems that'll astound. Streamline your processes, no need for complication.
Hey everybody, today I have with me Lisa McPhee. I have been chatting with her, it's been a few months now, right? Maybe even almost a year on LinkedIn, because that's where we all hang out these days. That's our giant networking space. I don't even know what to call it. To get an event, venue, whatever. Working vehicle. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But Lisa is another person in the coaching space who is doing a really amazing job of helping other coaches sell, other coaches pre-sell, other coaches coach. So she's a coach to a coach, right? And that's the most that I can give you. I want you to tell us where you're calling in from, Lisa, and I want you to kind of give us the backstory, because what I love about your story is it's similar to mine in that you spent a lot of years in corporate America and then kind of realized, yeah, I don't really want to be in this room. Like, this is not where I want to stay for the rest of my life. And then you made this really big pivotal transition into starting your own business. And it's a really cool story. So I would love for you to share that with us.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My name's Lisa McPhee. I'm physically located in Toronto, Canada. It's very cold here today because it's the dead of winter.
Ooh, how cold is it for you?
It's actually not that cold today. It's above zero, but it has been super cold the past couple of
Yep. We're cold in Wisconsin too. That's why I ask. So I always get really excited when I get some, people that are north of me, because I'm like, oh, you don't understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's just
and
stupid.
I love it. I am a business coach, and I specifically work with high achieving women who are working in corporate or have worked in corporate and decided they want to leave to build an online coaching or consulting business. And I help them build a scalable, profitable business, leveraging their corporate experience. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I do. And the reason I do it is because back in 2019, so 6 years ago, I was 49. I was very aware I was turning 50, and I had a really high, in my organization, I kind of had the top job within my vertical, and I was really questioning, is this, like you said, is this what I want to do? Is this where I want to be? Because I'd kind of gotten all of the traditional success that I was chasing and striving for, and it just wasn't fulfilling. And so I decided I was going to leave. And then I didn't know how I was going to exit, because that's what I was working on, was my exit plan. And then I got let go from the organization, which at the time was, I know it sounds so terrible, but I was so happy.
Devastating, right? It's devastating.
Yeah,
it was devastating.
It was hard because it was my identity. I didn't really realize that at the time, and I didn't have the words to articulate it. But my identity was really tied to my salary, my title, the fact that I worked for a global consulting company, all of these external things. And without those things, I didn't know who the heck I was, honestly. So I had to really work on that. And I thought that when I started my business, I would just, learn some strategies and build a multi-million-dollar business right out of the gate. Like, I truly didn't have confidence. Yeah, I was like, let's get this thing done. And then what I realized was you can have all the strategy in the world, but if it doesn't come from you internally, and you don't believe that, you just are forced to face all your demons, Meghan.
It's also really hard to, I think one of the things people don't understand about, we have all these corporate experiences, right? Like, a lot of people I talk to are in that same situation where they started in corporate and now they're on and you get this, tell me if this was true for you. You get this false sense of, well, I'm an executive at a corporate level. So I know what I'm doing. And then you get out there and you start doing it on your own, and it's so completely different. And you're like, man, I suck. I'm not good at anything, which is totally untrue.
Yes.
Excuse me. Jeez, it's totally untrue. But it's different when you're doing it for somebody else than when you're doing it for yourself. When you're doing it for yourself, it's your baby. You overthink, you overanalyze, you over scrutinize. It's like you're overzealous, right? Like you can't even just get an MVP to market because you're all up in your head about things. Was that true for you when you decided to take this venture?
Yes. So the thing that was the most challenging for me when I first started, it wasn't building the product. Like it wasn't building the service that I wanted to sell. Maybe because I came from a consulting background, but the challenge was putting myself out there, like really being front facing and forward facing and selling off of my own name, which is ridiculous because it's so true. I did feel like I felt really vulnerable and like I was being exposed. And I felt like everything had to be perfect, which of course is not the case. In fact,
Exactly.
if you think about it, nobody likes I use this analogy all the time. Nobody likes a Miss Know-It-All. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't root for her. We don't root for the person that like has all the answers. We root for the person that struggles and like comes out of it on the other side and shares that, it makes us feel more relatable, But that's what I really struggled with that the most was being visible, being seen and feeling like I knew what I was doing because like you said, in the corporate world, I'd been there for so long and I really did feel like an expert in the boardroom, let's say. But once I got myself online, I was terrified I was scared of everything, Megan. I was scared of everything. And I remember once having a coach, like my very first coach said to me, Lisa, everything that you're afraid of, all of your insecurities, you're going to have to face. You're going to be brought to the mirror and you're going to have to deal with it. And when you get to the other side of it is where the real breakthrough will happen. And I remember I was so full of ego because, my ego was running the show that I was like, I'm so good. I don't have any issues. I mean, it's so ridiculous to think of now and it's laughable. But yeah, and then as it turns out, I was scared of everything. I was scared of everything, including money, which is hilarious because I would never thought
it's a scary place and you don't realize that it's one of those things you don't realize until you're in the middle of it and you're working on it and you're like, so this isn't as easy as the Instagram people make it look or like the LinkedIn, like, all these like shiny people that are out on the internet making money talking about how easy it is. They are wrong. It's not, they're not wrong, but I hate it because they paint a picture that's not realistic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If it was so easy, we'd all be multimillionaires right now. Yeah. It's not easy. The ones who hustle, the ones who show up, and I hate the word hustle, but there is a top 5% club, right? There's people that are going to get there because of the way they do things. And so your job has now become helping those people that were in your shoes X amount of years ago, abstract to get to where you are now, or at least point them in the right direction and mentor them in the right direction. What do you tell people, like similar to what we just talked about, how you don't know what you don't know, right? When you're trying to do it for yourself. And like, there's this whole online social selling and networking and all of this other, there's so many things to do and so many wheels. Where do you tell people to start? Like right now, today, I want to leave corporate America. What's the first thing I should do? Like I've already decided.
Yeah. Well, you decided you're leaving. Now I would say decide what you want.
When you say decide what you yeah. So when you decide what you want, are you going after life goals or business goals? Or both, I guess. I mean, it's both, right? Because you're building a lifestyle, right?
Yeah, both. Like, how do you want to live? So most of my clients are, in their late 40s, 50s, like 60s and beyond. So they're looking for their next act, whether it's your second act, your third act, your final act, like your next to final act. That's where they are in their career. So they've already achieved all the success. So now it's really about what do you truly want? What do you want this next act to look like? Because here's the thing, Megan, and I did this myself. I built a business I hated, because I didn't think about what kind of life do I want to live? Because, I've lived on the road and things. What kind of life do you want to live that you're not living now? Or maybe you are living your life and your work is taking over, right? But decide how you want your life to look and build your business to support that. Because if not, we'll build a business that doesn't support what you truly want.
Yeah, you've just built yourself into another job that's miserable and you hate it. And it's funny that so many people go into business starting out, I mean, obviously you go into business to make money, right? Like you're not just doing it to, I mean, unless you have so much money to live on and this is just your hobby and because you're bored, most of us are going into it to make some sort of money. But if you wrap that money goal around the lifestyle goal, like where do you see yourself living for the rest of your life? If you're in Wisconsin now and you want to live in Florida or somewhere sunny or somewhere northern, or like, that's a huge thing. That's a big move. Like if you want to truly move before you retire, or move to a place so you don't have to retire, so you're kind of retiring and working at the same time, like there's all these things that you could do to make your life better, right? I think people forget about that when they set goals for themselves as far as business goals. It should be tied to some sort of life goal. Every task that you do, everything that is related back to the business should also be related back to your life. So I'd love to hear you say that, because I think so many people, they don't think about it that way. When they're task setting and goal setting, they don't think about it as far as you have one life. There's really no separation of your work-life balance. I mean, it's one thing. It's an integration. It's all one life. So it's very cool to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. So what's step 2 then, right? So step 1 is obviously figuring out what you want. Like, what's your life goal? Where do you want to be? Where do you see your life? And then what's step 2? Do you tell them to just start taking calls? Pretty much. I mean, get on the phone with people.
Step two is to choose a business model that supports that, right? So like now, what are your revenue goals? Like what does your money look like? What does it need to look like? What are your revenue goals, like vanity numbers, right? I want $1 million business, or I want a multi-million-dollar business, but like how much money do you need to support this? Need is a terrible word. Like how much money do you desire to be bringing in every month and paying yourself? What do you want your business to look like? Do you want a big team? Do you want to be able to travel the world? Like to your point, do you want to be able to work from anywhere on any time zone? Like what does that look like? And then build your business around that. Like then create your systems to support that.
Yep, I love it. And then I always tell people from that point, then people, and it's funny hearing me say this because I'm the queen of automation, right? So I love tech, I love AI, I love automation, love all the things. But people are like, all right, I'm ready. I know what I want. I know where I want to be. I'm all right. Now I needed some sort of tool or software system. No, you don't. No. Stop that. No, you don't need that yet. And it's funny how many people kind of jump right in, right? They're ready. They want to do it and they want to do it now. Awesome. Fast movement is great. Go fast, take chances, do all the things. We got it, but in the right order. But, it's really hard for somebody who's doesn't have any messaging, hasn't even started talking to anybody about it. They know what they want. They know where they want to be. Okay, good. Now go talk about it. Go talk about it with as many people as possible and start talking and building momentum, and then build the thing that you're talking about. As soon as you figure out what language works and what's the most inspiring, right? Do you find that people are ready? Like once they figure it out, they're like, okay, let's go. And they like they just want to start.
Well, everybody wants to start with strategy. Okay, everybody. I wanted to start with strategy, so I get that.
Yeah.
But the truth is, any strategy will work, but you have to believe it, right? So my model is based on high ticket selling, right? And I teach people how to build a high ticket offer and what that actually means, because it's not just slapping a high price point onto something. But you have to believe if you decide on that business model, you have to believe in that pricing, right? If you're going to market with a $10,000 service and one single client is paying you 5 figures for your service, you have to believe that you have to look at your beliefs, right? You have to believe that you can deliver on that promise. You have to believe that you have the right systems in place. You have to believe that everything works. You have to truly believe that you're going to deliver and your client's going to get results. I mean, assuming they show up and do their part, right? And if you don't believe that, or it's really difficult to believe that when you don't have data to support that, like when you're first starting. So like I can believe that now because I have lots of data to support that is true. But if somebody's just starting, they may not have that belief in them. They have all the belief in themselves as it relates to what they were doing in corporate, right?
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
don't necessarily have that belief in themselves. And so you have to work on that. You have to work on your belief, and you do that by collecting data of your awesomeness already, you know?
I think it's really, that was one of the hardest things for me being a data person and a technology person, was leaving that false sense of comfort of a $1 billion, $2 billion lifestyle corporation that I was working for with all this data, right? Like we had so much data that I could like play with and move around and like figure things out, to zero, to literally zero, you know? And it was like, well, now what? Now what? But every action, I just want to tell everybody out there, every single action that you take is a data point. So just
Yes.
start marking stuff down. Even if you use a spreadsheet, and you all know I hate spreadsheets, I don't care. In the beginning, when you're just starting out, start marking your data down. Create a customer list, first of all. Please, God, somewhere create a customer list and start marking interactions with those customers and start figuring out what works. It's a little bit cumbersome and it's painful if you're doing it manually. And if you could go back episodes in this podcast or check out my YouTube, I have ways to help small business owners start tracking their data and actually, you know, very simple and free, but start tracking something. Because then by the time you're ready to scale and you want to put it into a system like a CRM system, if you have some form of setup, even in a spreadsheet, like I said, if you're starting to track those data points and what's working and what's not working, you are going to be so far ahead compared to your competitors, and being able to put that stuff into a CRM and then automate it and turn it up, right? Like I don't recommend anybody start automating their business until they figure out what works first. Don't start putting automations and all these other things into play, and even don't start throwing AI at it yet either. I mean, it can help you ideate and stuff like that, but you have to be able to make it work first. You have to have something successful, you know, some sort of process, some sort of system. Even if it's manual, the steps need to work. And then you can put it somewhere else. Sprinkle that magic automation fairy dust on it and blow it the heck up, right? And people think that they should start there once they figure it out. No. Don't start there until you know, like, you don't want to build something, have it break, have to undo it, have to rebuild it, like, and kind of go through this whole, automations are amazing until they're not, right? Until they screw up your whole world, right?
Yes, or your system breaks down. Or I mean, look, we all know. We all know what happens. I remember when ChatGPT went down like this. I think this was a couple of years ago when it first came out,
That
and
was
I just
insane.
started, and it went down, and I was like, I felt like the end of the world, you know. And yeah, don't be that.
Yeah. You have to be able to, you have to know how all the parts and pieces of your business work without all of the technology and all the stuff. Because what if it all goes down? What are you going to do, right? Like it could happen. So being able to do the processes and systems, system doesn't mean technology. System means how you systematically do something, right? And that can be manual in the beginning. And in fact, it should be manual in the beginning. You should be able to, and I, you know, Lisa being a salesperson and doing high ticket sales, boots on the street, man. Just go start talking to people. Go start selling.
To people.
Yeah, just go. Like, just go talk to people. Like, and that's terrifying. I'm going to tell you, it's terrifying because I'm terrified of sales. And I used to always think of myself as a horrible salesperson. And long story short, comes to find out I'm not that bad because I talk to people about what we do and what we do in Brand Built, what we do with Digital Magic CRM, what we're doing with Be Better. I talk about this stuff all the time on repeat, constantly, just over and over and over again. My family hates it. They don't want to hear about my stuff anymore. Stop talking to you about your business. No one cares. And I'm like, I care. It's like you said earlier, I care. How do you get people to break this is a good one because I would love to hear this from a leadership coach perspective, because how do you get people to break the mold of like what you and I both experienced was, I'm terrified to put myself out there. I'm terrified to tell people who I am and be vulnerable. And everybody has a different take on it, right? I mean, because this question gets asked all the time. So I would love to hear your take on how you get the people that you're working with to kind of break that mold and get outside your comfort zone and just go start talking to people?
I have them remember who the heck they are. And so I'm going to share this exercise with you and your audience that I give to everybody,
Ooh.
and everybody loves it. Yeah. So are you open? Okay.
Yes,
So
you can use me as your guinea pig.
I love it. So I have them write down. Okay, I'll just talk to you like it's just you and I here. I would like you to write down 50 things that you have done in your life that you are proud of. And here's how it's going to go. You're going to write down all the big things, like I went to college, I bought a house, I had a child, or like I went through a divorce, or I got to the other side of losing a parent, or, like the big things, right? And then you'll be at about 20. You'll be at about 20 and you'll be like, I still have 30 more. And that's when the work really starts. That's when you start thinking of the things that you never give yourself credit for, that you do on the daily. Like I had a really hard conversation with a loved one that needed to happen, and I had been avoiding it because I love them and I don't want to have that conversation, but someone has to have it. Or it could look like I didn't flip out at my teenager today when I really wanted to. That is some growth because I want to break that pattern of just, making them responsible for my bad mood, right? Like whatever. And then you get to fit. And then when you get it down to that level, you're like, it's easy to get to 50. When you get to 50, then I want you to read that list and tell me how you feel about yourself. Here's what happens when you do that. You feel like a rock star. You're like, you know what? I've done some amazing shit in my life. I am amazing. And you did that, right? And you can't argue with yourself because it's not me telling you you're awesome, Megan. It's you reminding yourself of your awesomeness. But you never give yourself credit for it. Like, I'm telling you, when I get people to do this, they're like, you know what? I'm freaking amazing. I show up for my family. I show up for my kids. I show up for my coworkers. I show up for my friends. I show up for everybody. I don't show up for myself. It's time for me to show up for myself. And I actually, you know what? I know my shit. I've worked really hard to get to where I am. And by the way, even if you didn't, you're still awesome, right? Like you are where you are, and everywhere you go, there you are, right? So you are like your number one asset. Like we're all our number one asset. So we need to treat ourselves as such. So when you finish that exercise, you're going to feel like a rock star. And then from that place, I want you to start talking to people and telling people like why you're doing what you're doing, why you're embarking on this journey. And I promise you, you're going to get the buy-in. People want to support people, especially people who are in your world, and you're trying something new. You're terrified, but they are so proud of you. They are secretly thinking, I wish I could do what she's doing. And they're telling themselves all the reason why they can't do the thing that you're doing. So do the thing. And after you have one conversation, don't go tell strangers. You're not ready for that yet. But some people that you feel really will support you, invite them into a conversation, and people that you know will support you, and you feel good about having a conversation with them. Invite them to a conversation. They're going to say yes. And then once you have 3 conversations, that turns into 5 conversations, turns into 10 conversations. And now you have, next thing you know, you have strangers on the internet sending you messages every single day, telling you how much they appreciate showing up, and then you change their life.
I absolutely love this, and I'm going to piggyback and add a few more things on here. So this is exactly when I started. This is exactly what I did. Is I just started having conversations with these people. I'm going to give you 2 other things that piggyback and go along with what Lisa's saying, because this is absolutely true. Don't go start having conversations with strangers. I can't stress this enough. Find an inner circle. Okay, so as a solo entrepreneur or as an entrepreneur, it's going to get really freaking lonely. Don't let it. If I could give advice to myself, 10 years ago when I started this journey, it would have been to find that inner circle of people that I know, like, and trust, that are mentors and friends and our business partners, and those people that you can trust, like a brand built community. Join a community if you have to, of other like-minded entrepreneurs, just so that you have people to talk to when you're stressed out, when you hit rock bottom, get a coach, get a leadership coach like Lisa. Even though, yes, I get it, you're paying that person, but that's what you're paying for, is the accountability partner and somebody that's been there, that's done it, that's gone through it, that you can actually ask questions. That is huge. Okay. It's monumentally huge, because it will get lonely. It'll get tiring. It'll get frustrating. You're going to want to give up like 50 times a day. If you have that kind of inner circle of people, you won't want to do that. You won't want to give up. You're still going to get pissed off. You're still going to get frustrated. You're still going to get annoyed. That's just going to happen.
Yes.
But it makes it better when you have people to lean on and kind of go through that, right? So there's that. And the other thing, now I have to remember how I was going to say this. The other thing is when you're talking to people, you want the people that you know are going to give you their honest opinions, okay? And I hate to say this, that may not be the fluffy stuff. You want honest opinions, and friends are going to give you fluffy opinions, right? And when I say fluffy opinions, like, they're going to support you no matter what, but some of those people are not going to ever really tell you the truth. Like, is this really a good product or service for you? You need to have that mixture of both. And I'm going to tell you right now, when at the end of the day, fast forward to future you in 5 years after you've been doing this, the people that are going to be still around in your life that you're going to really value and appreciate are the ones that gave you the criticism and the positive feedback, that actual true honest belief in the beginning, because those are the people that you don't want somebody to necessarily always to tell you you're amazing, right? You want people to tell you, hey, I think you're really amazing, but you might want to change this. Because otherwise, how are you going to know if it's good or not if everybody just tells you you're amazing, right? I found that out the hard way, because I picked, like, when I first started doing this and I first started contracting and consulting, I had this group of people that all they did was tell me how great I was, which, cool, thank you, I appreciate that, but nobody was actually telling me if what I was doing was helping or valuable. Like, and I had people that were kind of going through it, and they were just like, yeah, this is great. I'm like, that's not helpful either, right? Like, so you have to find that happy medium of people that are going to give you, they're going to support you, live or die. They're going to support you. They're, diehard fans of yours, but they're also going to give you the advice that's actually going to help you move the needle, right? Like, and say, hey, this part of this, program doesn't really work out really well. I don't know if this wording really is good. I love this idea of this service, but maybe not like this, You have to have a few of those. You have to. I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like some people tell them that and they just go out and they find 50 people who all just love them. And all they get is positive feedback, and you're like,
I feel like you're lucky that you had that feedback, because I had the opposite. Like, my family thought I was crazy. Like, not my
well, I didn't say all of my family was on board. I meant
but I mean, a lot of people in my world actually thought I was crazy, because my life looked so glamorous, right? I was on a plane, literally on a plane every week, flying to all these different countries. People thought that I had this glamorous life. I mean, the reality is I was living in a hotel room, and in a different time zone every week. I didn't even know. I had literally my calendar told me where I was. So people thought I was. Some people thought I was crazy, right? So, but I love your reminder to join a community, because that literally is one of the first things I did. Because my biggest worry wasn't about building the business; it was about finding like-minded entrepreneurs, business owners who had built something successfully, and being in community with those people. Because when I was in corporate, I had a lot of amazing mentors. So my whole world looked like consultants and people that
it was so easy to get in a room when you were in corporate. It was so easy because I was also up at the executive level, and it was so easy at that level to just like go to conferences, go to other companies, and like walk into the room and be in a room with these people. It wasn't until I realized, like, those aren't really the people I want to be in a room with. It wasn't until I stepped out of that world and I started doing like LinkedIn, and I started doing networking events, and I started having conversations with people like Nat Berman and Darren Mass, Luke Matthews and Jasmine Alik and like all of these people who are doing just crazy amazing things on their own, having equally the amount of success that we had like in a kind of a corporate setting. And I was like, see, I want to be like those people. I want to
Yeah.
pick and choose who I work with. I want to learn from the people that are out there building the lifestyle they want and paving their own path, right? And it sounds so fluffy. Oh, trust me, my family thought I was crazy also. I got really, really lucky when I first left corporate because I had all those big connections, that those were my first contractors. Like those were the first people to hire me as a contractor. And then it started to feel like, well, I didn't really leave. I'm still working for the exact same companies with the exact same people that I was having issues with before, but now I'm just doing it from my home for myself. And I'm like, it was like a mini step, right? Like it was like I left, but I didn't really leave because I was still going back to those places. So it's like you said, pick your lifestyle. I was like, this is great. I'm doing it for myself, but was it really? Did I really, that kind of thing.
Yeah. There's so many things to navigate when you're starting. So many things. And I mean, and then the systems, right? That's where people tend to
the
get
systems,
really
the AI and the automation. Yeah. I
Mhm.
would say, that AI, I mean, because I truly believe everyone needs to learn AI. It doesn't mean
I agree.
it is a tool that you need to learn. It is something that if you're not learning it and you're not figuring it out and you're not seeking people like myself out to help you, you will get left behind. Unfortunately, you will. It's not the AI that's going to take your job. People are so worried about the AI taking their job. It's the people that know how to use it and have learned how to use it and incorporate it to get things done, faster. It's helping them, get things done faster. Those are the people that are going to surpass, which is, it's a really scary thing, especially for people who are our age, right? Like over 45. And, I'm fortunate enough to be a tech person and be an AI, but it's really scary. It's a really scary place right now. Start small, pick a few tasks off, start learning, please start learning.
No, everybody should learn AI. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're at the end of our time here, but this was a really fantastic conversation. I always love talking to people who previously were in corporate and left because that was, and love hearing the different experiences because I think the transition's been different, but almost the same for every single person I've talked to, right? Like you spend so much time there and then that transition period is like the dopamine high. And then you're like, oh, I have to do all of this myself. Like, wait, I had a team for that. Right? Like, damn. Yeah. It's super funny. The real, like, you can almost see it on every single entrepreneur's face when that happens. Like, the left, I'm happy. And then what you say? Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you start asking yourself, like, am I crazy? Like, should I even be doing this? You get to that point. I mean, it's wild. It's wild, but also the best ride.
I want you to tell everybody where they can find you and how they can get a hold of you if they want to reach out and kind of talk to you more about your program and your services and the type of coaching you do. Because I know I have a lot of lurkers on LinkedIn that are, corporate America people still and on the fence about leaving. So I have those conversations with people in the DMs all the time. So let's point them in the right direction.
Hey, well, thank you. Well, if you're on LinkedIn, you can reach me on any socials. I'm at Lisa McPhee, LisaMcphee. My primary platform of choice is the Linky Link. So,
Yeah.
LinkedIn, yes. Yeah, connect with me there. Sneak into my DMs. I'm a real person. I might send you a voice note because I tend to do that because it's just more fun. Let people know you're real, have real conversations with real people. It's really fun. I say all the time, it's never been easier to make friends with strangers on the internet.
So creepy, our parents were telling us not to do all these things. Now we get in Ubers with strangers. We talk to strangers on the internet. Like we're just strangering all over the place. But yes, we will also drop all of Lisa's information in the show notes down below. So you guys can just click over. I highly encourage you to check out her content on LinkedIn. She's a fabulous writer. She's funny and witty, as you've seen here. And but her content is really, really great, especially for those people that are looking to make that transition from corporate to contracting or consulting or starting their own business as a coach or anything like that. So go check her out. And remember, everybody, technology, automation, AI systems, all of this stuff is only good when it works. And hopefully we help you make it work with this show, and have a fantastic rest of your week. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.